Hi, Trisha here from languagelearnersjournal.com, and I promised to go live with a Q&A session this morning. I'm not sure what time it is where you are, but it's about 8:30 here in the UK. So I've got some questions that you've been asking, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. If you're live and you're watching this, please post any questions you have, and I'll be online for the next few minutes or so. So some of the questions, I've written them down here. What accent is that you have? You're correct, it is the British accent. Another question was about learning multiple languages. Somebody wanted to learn about 3 languages at once. My recommendation there would be, if you're a complete beginner in a language, to focus on just one language at a time via a more holistic approach. So 1 language at a time for about 100 days, and then once you've got that down, maybe slowly introduce another language. I was going to ask what language groups were the 3 languages you were learning. Are they different language groups or are they very similar? Because I'd recommend, if they're similar, it's easier to learn different language groups. So for example, at the moment I'm learning Mandarin Chinese and Italian because they belong in completely different groups. If you must learn similar languages at the same time, then I would say stick to different days for the languages is quite a good one. Then your brain, if you stick to consistent routine, will start to say, oh, Monday is Spanish, for example, Tuesday is Italian. So get a good routine if it is more than one language that you're studying. So another question came up and it said, where can I talk to you? You can find me on my Facebook page, but I do private coaching sessions where we look at goal planning. Sorry, that's my dog in the background. But yeah, where we look at planning, and that's over on languagelearnersjournal.com if you felt that you needed some coaching. And I also support people with confidence. So if you really want to learn a new language, but speaking to an online tutor or even a face-to-face tutor is just too scary for you, yep, come and see me. So another question I've got was about the benefits of food and diet when you're learning languages. Diet is very important when you're learning languages, and I think I said in the last video, just a mere 2% decrease in water can have significant effects for your level of focus, concentration. So it's really important that you're hydrated before a study session. And also foods. For example, if you have a lot of sugar, what's going to happen is you're going to have this sort of big rush, which is like, yay! And then you're going to have that crash. And if that crash happens during a study session, you're not going to be focusing as well as you could be. So diet, a healthy diet, is really important when learning languages. And some foods are better than others. Blueberries, absolutely fantastic foods for brain development. And so is omega-3s. So maybe increase your intake of this. And they can also help not just with brain function, but improve your concentration levels. Quite often our concentration levels are because we're dehydrated or even tired. Our brains don't process information as well when we're really tired. So yeah, before I go, any questions, please just post them and I'll answer them. I'll be going offline because I've got to get to work very shortly. So I will have to sort of type them down, but still send me your questions. I'll just check that I've answered all the questions from before, and I am sorry if I miss a question, but let me just check I've got them all. Language learning can be tricky. I think learning any new skill is always tricky, and it's having a plan of action that can even cater for obstacles. Quite often we write down these learning goals, but what we forget about are the obstacles we might face. So I would recommend including any obstacles you might face and an action plan for them. So this could be too busy, then look at things, look at little bite-sized chunks, ways of introducing languages. So it could be an app on your commute if it's safe to do so. So always have an action plan there, and a plan B, a backup plan. When you have a language learning plan, I would also say take into consideration a budget, so the budget that you have for language learning, and put that into the plan as well. And also think about the senses that you use most, your strongest senses. So if you're more of a visual learner, plan for that. Look at materials that are more visual. And if you're more of a audio learner, plan materials that are audio. But don't neglect the other senses, still have materials for them, but do take into consideration your strengths and how you learn best. Right, so I don't think I've got any other questions that have been asked, but please do, if you suddenly think of one, just ask. That's my dog in the background. Okay, take care, and I'm really enjoying the conference so far. There's some amazing, wonderful speakers. Bye.